What's up, guys? Welcome to Whiskey. My name's Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around at the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. That sounds interesting. Hit subscribe down below. With that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Oban 14. Stick around. Alright, so we're looking at an Oban today. This is the 14 that I've got with me. This is one of the classic malts of Scotland range. That also includes things like Dalwhinnie, Craigenmore, Glenkinchie, you have Talisker in there, and Lagavulin. Now this is one of the more famous ones. It's not on the same level as stuff like your Lagavulins or your Taliskers, but it is up there. And it's actually a bit of a divisive one. Some people just are not on board with this stuff, and I do understand why. Listen, this one comes with a lot of the classic Diageo shortcomings. You know, we have our color added, we have the lower ABV in there, so a lot of people just don't like this stuff. They think it's maybe a little bit underwhelming or it's neutered. Fair play to them. And then on the other side, you have people that absolutely love this stuff. And the funny thing is, it doesn't seem to matter where you're at in your whiskey journey. Both beginners and enthusiasts argue over this stuff, so it doesn't seem to be a matter of experience. Now, I have a friend who's been drinking for much longer than I have, and he absolutely loves this stuff. He thinks it's great, one of the best entry-level whiskeys money can buy. Oppositely, I have a friend, another friend, who also is much more experienced than I am, who thinks this is like, okay, average, passable, fine. That's a lie. I don't have any friends. But I do have an open bottle of Oban 14, and it's getting pretty low. Now, I only bought this maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. This one was a split with a friend, and usually it takes us a good while to get through our bottles. This one has not lasted long, so already we can say that's a good sign. So yeah, a bit of a spoiler there. I absolutely love the house style. I am very pro Oban. So now that we know how I feel about this stuff, let's find out how I feel about this stuff. Let's jump into our review and see what the whiskey's all about. And in the meantime, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. It's a Diageo, so I'm sure a lot of you already know the drill here. This one comes in at 43%. It is colored and it is chill filtered. So we've got 3 X's up there. I was considering today either an eye roll or a head shake with some tisks thrown in. I think I'm going to go with the head shake. So I'll show you our fake tan color here. In terms of the look, you know what? It's not special, it's not really spectacular, but it's fine. I probably prefer pretty much every other bottle they have out in terms of the look itself. But this one works, you know, it gets the job done. It's pretty simple, but whatever. We'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Nothing about color or chill filtration. Really not much useful information here at all, but that's classic Diageo. You guys know how it goes. The look is fine. I did not add water. Let's try our nose. Salty and coastal. It's also kind of fruity, kind of waxy. Caramel on waffles. We have some toffee in here. Maybe some sweet red apples. We have cereal, pecan pie, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Now this has a really nice balance between salty and fresh. No smoke in here. And now our palate. Alright. You know, that's not a bad mouthfeel considering the ABV. Salted caramel, nuts, or you know what? Salted caramel and nuts on pancakes. Sure. There's also salted pretzels, butterscotch, toffee. We also have praline, nutmeg, some oak spice, some cloves in here, and that classic Oban minerality. And now our finish. Alright. More cloves. Salted pretzels again. Caramel. Waffles. Maybe a bit of like herbal lozenges in here. Some shortbread. Some baklava. This is a short to medium finish. Pretty much a straight line of flavor. Okay, so right out the gate, I'm a big fan of this stuff. It works for me. and it's one that I overlooked for entirely too long. I am rectifying that now. I've been on a huge Oban kick lately. I picked up, what do I have? I have the DE Distiller's Edition, I have the Little Bay, I have the 2021 Cask Strength, and I'm sure down the line I'll bring them all together, do a little like shootout video for you guys, so stay tuned for that. But just for today, I want to zone in on the 14 here. We've got some cool flavors in here, and yes, it does have those Diageo pitfalls, but the distillate here is delicious, it's balanced, it's really interesting. Like, that's one of the things that I probably enjoy the most about this whiskey. You know, it's not infinitely complex. We do have complexity here. It's definitely not, you know, a simple whiskey, but what I like is that I just enjoy it on a visceral level. I just want to drink it, if you know what I mean. Like, I could go into more detail here, and actually I will go into more detail because it's a review, but first and foremost, I just like the Oban house style. I'm a sucker for it, and I think the 14 is a great introduction to that house style. Very unique, very characterful, very coastal. Oban for me is that coastal salinity. It's like caramels and cereals. It's that wonderful minerality. We get all of that in here. It's all in good balance. Throw in some apples, some pastries, some nutty flavors. Everything comes together beautifully. It's a wonderful combination, and it's very singular. Now, it does get criticized for being somewhat light and straightforward, and I can appreciate that. That's not incorrect. It also gets criticized for not having a very long finish. Also true. I mean, for me, the finish isn't so abrupt that it really throws me off or bothers me much, but yes, it is too light. It is one of those whiskeys, you know, it should be 46%. There's a rant in there. I don't want to do it today, but I still like it. You know, I still really like the flavors in here. I like that it goes more salty than it does sweet. Like, we have those fresh apples and those brighter, sweeter, fruitier notes in here, but then that salty coastal character comes in. And it doesn't just bring dryness with it, it's also a little bit of a savory element that it adds to the whiskey, which I think is great. Add to that the fact that for a 43% whiskey, our mouthfeel's not bad. It's quite mouth-coating. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about Oban, discuss how it's very gently peated, and it is. I forget to what ppm, but it's in there. And the thing is, I don't pick up on it as like a tasting note, as a fully fledged like flavor that I'm just pulling out. But it's funny, I almost do. Like, it's something that's not quite there, but it's hinted at, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And that might add an extra little cool dynamic to this whiskey. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this stuff. My score here is going to be 89. I think it's brilliant, and I realize that's going to be high for a lot of you out there. As I mentioned earlier, not everyone is on board with Oban 14. You know, I read a lot of comments where people will be like, I've graduated past this stuff, or it's too simple, or it's a beginner's whiskey. And I definitely don't agree with that, but I can sort of see where they're coming from. And of course, the fault there, as always, does not fall on the people who work at the distillery or a problem with the distillate itself. It falls on the corporate overlords at Diageo who give us 43% colored, chill filtered, all that stuff. You know, this would be a wonderful whiskey to present at 46%. I know I say that every time, but this one, oh my God. I mean, it's already one of my favorite entry-level whiskeys available on the market right now. And it's not naturally presented. If it was, it would be a killer. Still, this is one that I'm going to strongly recommend. I think it's a great whiskey for both beginners and enthusiasts. And I'm sure a big chunk of you out there have already tried this one. It's a very famous whiskey. It's been around for a good while. But if you haven't, definitely check it out. It's really cool stuff. Alright, so value is a little bit tricky on this one because a lot of the big international online retailers are now asking too much for this stuff. Luckily, here in Taiwan, it's still an affordable whiskey. It's priced at the high end of entry level, and that's a price I'm willing to pay. You know, this is something I'll keep coming back to as long as I can until Diageo decides to price it outside of my budget. Knock on wood. Alright, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That is always appreciated, and I do want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on our Oban 14 here? Do you like it? How much are you paying for it? Is it worth the money? Let me know. And finally, down in the comments, you can also let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.